Also, transportation fuel. This is plotted here is the energy stored per unit volume. If you want it in a car, you don't want the whole trunk to be used up with your energy storage. You don't want your weight to be all used up in energy storage. That Tesla car, which now costs $109,000, but it's actually costs a lot more than $109,000 to make. 1/3 of the weight is the battery. Where are we? If you look at diesel fuel, it's 50,000 kilojoules per kilogram in terms of the weight. What is the best lithium-ion battery? It's 0.15 kilowatts per kilogram. Okay, so you just look at those numbers, big difference. Now, if you can make this increase by a factor of 4, make it increase by a factor of 2, you've got a plug-in hybrid, a viable plug-in hybrid. A factor of 4 to 5, you've got an electric vehicle. There's some hope. This is a battery after 1,500 deep discharges. So it's a battery that's now been spun off from a company developed at Lawrence Berkeley Lab. It has twice the energy density, and it looks like this battery could last 15 years, the life of the car. But it remains to be seen. There are a few other little quirks we've got to work out. We're working on biofuels. BP is investing $500 million in the University of California, Berkeley Lab in Illinois. Department of Energy is investing $25 million a year to take sunlight, carbon dioxide, water, and nutrients, make some biomass, and convert it to energy. We're developing better plants, more efficient plants, easier to break down to simple sugars, you can grow on marginal land, doesn't compete with farmland, and we're trying to improve the conversion to energy. This is one bit of advance in the first year of this institute. This is the cell wall material of switchgrass. This is where all the energy is stored. You put it in an ionic liquid where the positive and negative ions, it's not water plus ions, the actual molecules of the liquid have positive and negative charges, and after a few hours of treatment, a very mild treatment, you wash it away with water, you get pure strands of cellulose, hemicellulose, and all the lignin has been washed away. It's a very benign environment, so the enzymes work well. So this has a possibility of going to scale. We'll see. I'm going to skip. We're looking at termites to help digest things better. There's a whole new field called synthetic biology where you insert not just a single gene, but dozens or even hundreds of genes and promoters and activators into a microbe. Again, in the first year of our institutes, we've done this. This is Jay Keesing, a director of physical bioscience, who's now head of one of these institutes. We now have these little bugs making gasoline-like fuel, diesel fuel, and jet fuel. Now, the quantity is not high, and so for the next 5 years, we will be working to get this to industrial strength. But it only took 6 months to do this. The entire metabolic pathways have been inserted, and they work. We're now using directed mutation, for those biologists in the audience, and a process called directed evolution to rapidly go through generations of this stuff to optimize and improve. And finally, we are working on photosynthesis. You heard from Professor Gretzel, and how do you take sunlight and split water. So there's reason for hope, and we need a second industrial revolution and a second green revolution based on sustainable use of the Earth's resources. But we also have to move away from a society where values consumption above all. And let me remind you of what Gandhi said: Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. So with that, I will stop with this image, the Titanic, taken by the first Apollo orbit that went around the moon, the far side of the moon, and you see a very beautiful Earth, a very bleak lunar landscape, and you will notice that there's nowhere else for us to go. Thank you.